Thank you so much for having me.
All right, great. So let's start with your reactions. We've seen the online appeal by Jadeonjo asking you to please be a part of the coalition, and you've blatantly disregarded this. Why is it?
Well, DG is someone that's a good friend of mine and someone I like. But DG, understand as a lawyer that I won't have an alibi if he asked me to join an armed robbery gang, and I could do that. I can't go to court and say that he asked me to do it. So he knows what he's doing. I think he's just trying to do the best he can to help his friends who are formerly his PDP friends who have gone to join the coalition, to see if he can get people on their side. But I made it very clear from day one when I started politicking in Nigeria, I mean, politics in 2018, 2019, that if I can't help fix Nigeria, I'm not going to be part of those who will break Nigeria into pieces. So everybody in this opposition group that DG himself has criticized severally are people that he and I know cannot be the solution to Nigeria's problem. They are the ones who created the problems that we're facing today in the first place. So he understands that. So I think I'll give it to him that he has the right to freely express himself on these matters, and that's what he has done. It's not a crime.
Now, Mr. Sowore, I want to take a cue from what Mr. Peter Obi said. He says no one group can change Nigeria alone, and that building bridges, even on easy ones, is necessary. Mr. Sowore, don't you think in politics is, democracy is a game of numbers. You make some concessions here and sacrifices. Don't you think that a pragmatic approach would be to work with sometimes strange bedfellows to get to your goal of executive power, so that you can make those changes you desire? Because not everyone would think like you or share some of your beliefs and ideologies, and you just play the game of politics like it's called.
Well, first, Peter Obi would not be my ideal philosopher, so I don't know why you're quoting what he said to me. But the truth is that Nigeria has been at this for 65 years of politics of compromise, of strange bedfellows, and very unprincipled characters. And this is where he has left Nigeria, a broken country. And I have no doubts that I don't need to be in bed with strange bedfellows. I cannot be on a bridge that has been built and broken by the same people. These are not bridge builders. These are country and destiny destroyers who have come together. And if you listen or read what I wrote a few days ago, you must have understood. I just didn't reject the coalition. I named names and I put them where they fit in terms of building a coalition that has put Nigeria where it is today. The APC was a coalition. I don't know why we easily forget these things. We have so many coalitions in this country. We have political parties that have, and it's made up of people who have been in power for several years. And Amechi, for instance, was governor for 8 years. He was Speaker of the House of Assembly at the state level. He was minister for how many years? And you want me to believe that they will fix Nigeria in another coalition? And people like Malami, they were Minister of Justice in this country for 8 years. Peter Obi himself was governor of a state for 8 years. They did nothing. Atiku was a vice president of this country. So this whole excuse or alibi that it is necessary to cover your nose and be in bed with terrible people so that you can fix a country that they broke. And the only thing these people know how to do is to destroy countries. Like I said, just like you have cattle rustlers destroying certain part of the north, you also have destiny rustlers, and then this coalition and the existing coalition that is the ruling party now. And Nigerians forget so quickly. Now, these same characters were the ones that formed this coalition that we're still grappling with. That's the APC. There was Amechi, Rufai, Atiku, and Malami that formed the APC. Most of them, some of them were the CPC part of the APC gang that you haven't recovered from. I mean, you and I haven't recovered from, and here we are again, asking to take philosophical position that would destroy our entire existence. I don't know where we get these ideas from.
All right, Mr. Sowore, so what would be the ideal take for you come 2027? If you say a coalition party made up of these personalities wouldn't work, and you have continued to criticize the current administration, saying they're not indeed doing very well. So what will eventually be your take? What do you think will work for 2027?
I have been very clear that there are over 83 million voters, registered voters, and I'm sure by the time INEC is done with fresh registration this year, we'll probably have something close to 90 million, if not 100 million people. The last election was carried out by less than 25 million voters, so you still have excess of over, maybe we'll have 80 million voters, or at least 50 million voters available. Are you saying that this country cannot be fixed by those who are not part of those who voted us into the bottom of the world that we're in now? There are plenty of people, and we have spoken at the level of our political party, the African Action Congress, our movement, that there are plenty of Nigerians out there who can make a better decision for the people of Nigeria. And these people are not going to do it. The people we keep referring to as, oh, we are helpless. If we don't join them, we can't make any progress. So we want to be in coalition with the oppressed people. We want to be in coalition with the people who are suffering, people who are really determined to make sure that this country becomes a country that is the one they can be proud of, the one that can provide them the opportunities in life that they need, the one that can protect them, protect their children. It is not a country that is beholden to the same people who destroyed the country. Some of them have been around since independence, or their children, or their cronies, or their family members. So I don't have any reason to keep giving excuses on your shows that I can't be part of this. You know, you are scrolling my list of some of these characters that are in this coalition, with the number one being the president of Nigeria. I've never joined them before, and I'm not going to join them now because it is convenient to do so. I will only join people who have very clear ideology and ideas and ideals that will make those things that I stand for and I've always stood for since I started fighting for this country at the age of 19 or 20. Those is only people who align with my ideas and principles that I can be in bed with. There are plenty of them. So the problem is that, are we ready to help those who want to help the country?
And
or we're only ready to help those who are wrecking the country?
I'm glad that you mentioned there are plenty of them. So from what we gather, you're not opposed to a coalition. You're not just in support of the current structure of what this coalition represents. You've mentioned that you can only, unite with a certain kind of people. Would you maybe share names of these people that there's a potential, if you had to go into a coalition with, that you'd rather go into a coalition with?
I have so many people that I can't mention, and that the idea is not to come mention names of people I can be in coalition with. My job is to mention names of people who I can't be in coalition with. I've done the math for you. There are 83 million voters registered in the country. 20 million people voted, or maybe 25 million people voted in the last election. There are 50 left. So there are clearly, mathematically and arithmetically, more people who have not voted, participated in these elections that are out there. But let me just, for instance, throw out something I said a few days ago, which was the fact that I went to an INEC meeting and I asked them to register new political parties that we expected. I would, for instance, be comfortable to be in coalition with a political party of Seun Kuti, the Movement of the People, because these are clearly very bright, young, ideal candidates for a country that we need. I will be in coalition with the political party of a party formed by former Gani Famemi. The Socialist Party of Nigeria is out there. There are a lot of political parties that are seeking registration that have not been registered, that we can be in coalition. But most importantly, we don't necessarily have to use the word coalition, because politicians are banding around the word coalition, which is a convenient way of fooling people when another election seasons are approaching. So whether you call it coalition, whether we are joining hands, whether we are communing, whichever way you want to call it, it is up to Nigerian people to join a different coalition that is particularly different and follows a different trajectory for the one that we are seeing of these people that I call jokers.
Now, Mr. Sowore, I do appreciate your analysis and you breaking it down that there's a huge bulk of voters out there that are not affiliated to the ruling party or the opposition coalition as currently constituted. There are lots of young Nigerians there that are not happy with the current system and don't even want to see any establishment politicians in any group or settings. But let's talk about the practicality of it and the current political arena in Nigeria. Currently, there's a very huge part that money plays. How do you intend to mobilize and sensitize this millions of Nigerians that, look, this is the alternative, this is the third force, this is the way to go in practical terms? And how do you dislodge these career establishment politicians that have been part of the system since 1999 and way back? And also the issue of poverty, weaponization of poverty. We do know how the current economic situation is in the country. Are you confident that you could speak to a person and that person will decide not to sell their vote and do what is right for them? Those are my questions.
Well, I have to say this, and I'll humbly present this before you and Nigerians, that it is not going to be just my job. I don't have a magic wand to make people decide that they don't want to suffer anymore. I don't have a magic wand to turn people away from selling their votes. But we can all work together to bring about a consciousness to say to people, look, enough is enough of suffering, of being decimated by these characters politically. Enough is enough of being second-class citizens in your own country. We can say that to people. With regards to money, money is the only currency they know. But even if anything is out there now, is that there's a different level, or there are different levels of money. It's no longer what the political class is used to. And there's a currency that we need to use, and that is to appeal to everybody that, yes, you can sell your votes, but whenever you sell your vote, you know what has happened to you. There is also enough evidence to show that people who sold their votes are not doing better than people who didn't sell their votes or people who didn't even vote at all. So it is a consciousness campaign that we must all engage in, and that's what I've been doing probably my entire life, but I've intensified. And there's an opportunity now, having seen what is presented by the political class, there's an opportunity now for Nigerians to look at what they presented and for them to also decide to follow what we have presented or what is ideal for them. Because if they don't, well, you already know what will be the outcome of this character that you're seeing here lined up. And I want to also mention quickly, and this is not digressing, that if you look at this hall, in front of you, you cannot find anybody that represents 70% of the Nigerian population. That is the young people who are below the age of 35. All of these people are in their 70s, 80s, some of them you don't even know their age, you don't know their pedigree. They are the ones sitting down here making you feel like they represent you when they never represented you when they were in their 20s. They will never represent you when they're 80. These are a bunch of unpatriotic, very greedy, selfish, very wicked set of Nigerians that the worst of the characters you can see are here in this hall, and they're also in the other political party known as the APC. So, and I can also guarantee you that some of these people will still go back to the APC, by the way, before the end of the election, because they don't have a daytime job. This is what they do, just hustling and moving around trying to find what to eat and what they can sell, which is first and foremost their conscience. So, and at the end of the day, the people who are selling their votes will just get crumbs out of all of this. So it is everybody's duty. This is not just about Sowore or even political parties. It's about your survivor. It's a life and death issue, and the urgency of now is upon us to change direction. These people came out very early, and I'm happy about it. They came out early now. You can access them, you can see them. And by the way, even some of our friends who were misdirected last time are already also I saw Charlie Boy. If you read what Charlie Boy wrote, who's a friend of mine, you understand that maybe the consciousness is coming upon him as well. Although you can't trust how long that will last. Even Dati, who was the deputy to Obi, because you're mentioning Obi a lot, I said it even during an interview yesterday that the people who are in this coalition are not they are not even the third 11. These are third-rated, selfish and patriotic politicians who cannot bring about the narrative, who cannot change the narrative and change the country the way we want it to be fundamentally changed. People are making these comparisons, but of course, we all have a duty, including those of you in the studio, to not also ensure that the reasonable voices or the voice of reason are drowned by the hubris that has been presented by these guys. And I'm sure that a lot more people are realizing that we've made these mistakes too many times and it's time to change course.
Before now, you've alleged that, and you stated that all opposition parties in Nigeria, except the AAC, are being influenced and manipulated by the APC. What we've seen, however, in the past few weeks has been a lot of movement. First, it was a lot of people moving from the PDP to the APC, and all the other parties, the Labour Party inclusive. But now that the coalition has emerged, there are going to be some fresh movements as well. Like we say, political transfer window season is upon us. Do you have concerns about the stance or the position of the AAC and the ability of this to sort of shake your standing?
No, I don't have. You see, we should look at the AAC as a political party, and you look at the other political parties, and you will notice that since the end of the 2023 election, you can't find a single person, not a single person in the AAC who has jumped ship. We're not a party of carpetbaggers or gerrymanders who wake up, in one uniform by the time they go to bed and wake up the next day, they're in another political party. I am not saying that 100% there may not be somebody in the AAC who might be ideologically confused, who can do something wrong. I'm not saying that, but the majority of our party members are very committed. Their ideological stand on where Nigeria should be is unshakable, and there is no way an AAC member will want to join the political hubris that is going on now in Abuja or elsewhere. You mentioned earlier that I said, most of these people, of course, a lot of them are APC members. In fact, they are already having conversations on the ground that some of them can't be trusted because they are moles from the party. The majority of the people in this particular party you are mentioning, the ADC, and the ADC, by the way, is a party created by Obasanjo, are members of the APC. Amici is a member of the APC. Malami is a member of the APC. Nasiru El-Rufai is a member of the APC. And David Mark is from PDP. So you have the former CPC people and the Atiku chapter of the PDP. They are the majority of people in this political party. So, and then you have, if I say there are Labour Party people, I'll just be making, I'll be confusing you. Most of the people who went to Labour Party with Peter Obi are former PDP people, they are former Atiku people. Obi himself was Atiku's deputy in 2019. So the Labour Party, as I usually describe them, is an Airbnb, it's a short renter, and their tenure or their rent has expired, and they probably haven't succeeded in renewing. So, and you know that so many people that also jumped ship recently from National Assembly, in the Senate and the House of Representatives are members of the Labour Party. So these guys, because there was never really a Labour Party in the sense of it. The Labour Party was just a special purpose vehicle that was used to confuse people in 2023. And as soon as they won the election, everybody headed back to where they belonged, their habitat, their natural habitat.
Now, Mr. Sowore, if you put down the CVs of everybody that is part of the new coalition, you will notice that they've been in one form of official position or the other, political position in the history of Nigeria. And they've cross-carpeted, they've been one-time PDP or APC or both ways. And if you also do the same for the ruling APC, you see that they are very politically involved. But there's a generation of Nigerians, young Nigerians, conscious Nigerians that are yearning for a real change, not a change of former politicians or politicians that have a bone to pick with the ruling APC. I want to just grab power for the sake of power. How do you reach out to those Nigerians? Are there all the political parties with the thinking of the AAC too? Because you did mention that it's nice that they came out this early before the election, so everybody knows what they're dealing with. So there's still time. Are you hopeful that you and people that are like-minded might come up with a third force and say, look, we're not doing politics as usual, we're different? Are you thinking towards extending hand of fellowship to Nigerians that just don't want to deal with parties that have been involved in bringing us to this present state?
Yes, but let me also make the distinction between political parties and political ideas or political interests. A lot of people who may be interested in change don't necessarily want to join political parties. That's what I've discovered about Nigerians. They are very unique in that regard, and that is why probably Nigerians, and I use soccer, football as an example. Nigeria is the only country that I know of that if they present a group of persons to go and play soccer in any competition and they're not doing well, they will start supporting the team that is doing well. And that is what they need to bring to bear on 2027. And it has, for me, I don't even believe that we need to wait till 2027 because I'm a revolutionary. I think this whole idea of being subjugated and oppressed will end today, the next hour. But for those who feel like, they want to act according to the calendar dictated by the political ruling parties, I want to say to you that you don't actually have to join a political party. You can decide what you need is a voter card. And the moment you have that, you can vote for whomever you want as long as you are conscious. But I must say this, that even the mentality of the average Nigerian youth that we talk about, the legendary Nigerian youth, must change. If their ambitions are limited to becoming special assistants and supervisors and special advisors to these failed people, then there's no way they can get the kind of change they want, no matter how conscious they are. That consciousness must be matched with an ambition that is unrivaled and that must be futuristic and competitive. Anything less than that is going to put them back to where they used to belong. These people understand Nigerians. They know they're vibrant. They know they're very competitive. They understand that. They understand the world, that they are dynamic.
All right.
But they also understand that they can be very complacent and they can be very confused, and that sometimes they don't have clear ambition. That is why you see them always saying, oh, nobody can defeat the old order. The old order has already defeated itself by its own performance and by its own history of lack of performance and its own, backwardness. You just need to organize. So, but to go straight to your question, I'll say, yes, I'm open and we're reaching out to a lot of people, especially very young, vibrant, dynamic people, or even older, very conscious Nigerians, wherever you may be. Please, if we can't reach you, reach out to us. We're willing and ready to work with you to make this country just change once and for all. And for those of you who rely solely on hope, let's just tell you that hope is not a strategy. Right. It has to be action.
All right, Mr. Sowore, we're wrapping up this conversation now, but before we go, are you equally going to be running for 2027, and who would be your running mate?
Nobody can pigeonhole me as far as running in 2027 is concerned. As I've always responded to you, I'm always running, and I never stop running until we get to the place that we need to be, until we win. So I'm running, but I'm not responding to this as a response to your question, but I'm just running for human rights. I'm running for the betterment of the country. I'm running for prosperity. I'm running for progress and peace for Nigeria and Africa, the Black race, and the world. So you just don't worry. When I'm ready to make the particular announcement that you're looking for, I would let you know. You guys are my friends, and we're not that far away from each other. So I'll let you know. But for now, let's focus on just what is important, which is to get our country back.
Do you have faith in the decision to run?
I'm not a faith-based person. If I'm going to run, I'll just announce when I'm ready. There's nothing spiritual about running.
No, I wasn't asking about faith from a spiritual perspective. I was really saying that looking at the indices on the ground, with the fact that it seems like all the big wigs have come together, the coalition has a strength on its own because of the caliber of people, their political trajectory. Some would argue that you haven't really held political office. So I'm asking, do you believe that even as you're running, with your decision to run, that you will win the 2027 elections? Or do you think that from what it is, you're running because you know that that is the right thing to do, not necessarily because you believe that you will move and that INEC will respond to what the polls are reflecting?
It's exactly what I'm saying about running. And I've said this without trying to digress from your exact question. Is that there's nothing great about the people you call experienced politicians that have head office. They've had office for how many years now? I mentioned one that has head office from, if you add 8 to 8, that's 16 years. Amechi, El-Rufai did 16 years. What did they give you? All these experienced politicians that you keep hyping and promoting, they have nothing to offer. It's about here. It's about ideas. Nobody has ever voted for experience that has no use. You should vote based on your experience with them. And I have been involved my entire life defeating people who people claim are undefeatable. The military, and all these corrupt politicians. I've worked my entire life defeating them. There's no big deal about that. There's a bunch of cowards. But I must also admit that without fundamentally tinkering with the things that will bring about the outcome of free, fair, and credible elections, everybody is wasting his time too. And INEC is a major problem. The security agencies are a major problem. And, the processes that, interfere with free and fair elections are all still in place. I, for instance, go to INEC meetings, and when the people who are officials of INEC, when you see them, they are people these are APC members, and they are the federal commissioners, they are the state electoral commissioners. They don't put them there to go and sanitize the process. They put them there so that they can help them rig elections.
So
all of this has to be fundamentally, of course, addressed, and that is why, before being a politician, I'm a revolutionary.
All right.
And I think
I'll hate to interject now, but we've run out of time. We have to wrap up the conversation now. We've run out of time. Thank you for joining us this morning on Breakfast Central. All the best with 2027.
Thank you for having me.
We wish you all the best with your run. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.